President-elect Bola Tinubu on Wednesday rejected a request made by the Rivers State Governor Wike for a refund the construction of some federal roads in the state. Tinubu spoke while inaugurating the Rumuokuta-Rumuola flyover in Obiapo local government area of Rivers State, while noting how the state had to amend its procurement law to enable it to secure funds and complete the various flyover projects embarked upon in record time. Interestingly, right, Wike said the projects undertaken by the state ought to be done by the federal government. To quote Governor Wike, "These projects ought to be federal government projects because they are federal roads. If we had said because they are federal government roads and we wouldn't do it, who are those to suffer? Since we have said we don't want our people to suffer, I also believe that the federal government should look, well, you have done well for us. These are projects we should be doing. Can you bring your bill? Let us refund you the money you have done these roads." That is what it is supposed to be for a partnership with a good federal government. I can assure you, as you enter the office and you approve to pay this money back, other states will have the courage to also do the same thing. I am not asking what we are not entitled to. The federal government should say you are a true son of this government. You have removed shame from us. But in his response, the president-elect stated, and I read, "The 12th flyover and the demand you made for refund, I owe you nothing. It is your road. You can't chuckle at me and make a demand. You are the one living on this road. I commend your effort. You have to lobby me to collect it." Well, the president also thanked Governor Wike for helping him to victory during the elections. That is quite an interesting one, an interesting comeback. Remember, I told you yesterday, I said they both fit each other. Now, in order to delve into this conversation proper, we have joining us virtually Victor Atewe. He is a political strategist. Victor, good morning and welcome to VOP this morning.
Okay, while that is on, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I think the president has said this beat, of course, is about to get into office. And, being the president-elect, a lot of political office holder will try to, see how they can lobby their way in. I think that's what Governor Wike is trying to do, of course, to make him understand that, okay, you know what, I've spent a lot of money trying to put projects in order that ought to be done by the federal government. And, but I've done it. So your administration is owing the Rivers State people. And of course, the Bola Tinubu, of course, the president-elect, was wise enough to let him know that, you have to lobby, given to the recent development in terms of the economic state and a lot of debts he would inherit while assuming office. But for me, I think Nigerians expect a lot from that meeting. I mean, in terms of, especially from the South region, to see that they expect to have, the president-elect to, give his speech in terms of telling the South region how his administration will further better the life of the people of the South in Nigeria, and of course how they intend and of course to roll out his policies. So I think that's what I was expecting from the meeting, not the, just the banter or the appreciation, so to say, because it was just 16 minutes and I was trying to pick up what, of course, his intentions are when it comes to policies and, of course, economic growth in the southern regions of Nigeria.
All right. Well, from what I saw, it appeared that Wike was trying to bamboozle his way, which was, a smart move, making that request in the public. But now, we know federal roads are taken care of by the federal government, and then state roads are taken care of by the state government. Now, take us through the process of fixing roads, really, the political nitty-gritty in fixing infrastructures, basically, both for the federal and the state, especially the federal.
For federal roads, of course, contract is being allocated by the federal government, through a lot of process. The federal government, of course, will pass, after passing through all due process, will, of course, allocate those roads that are federal roads, to their contractors. And, of course, most states, of course, if you're used to traveling through roads, you find out that you expect that this road ought to have been done, and you hear the state government will say it's not the state government road, it's the federal government road. So those are solely federal government duties, while the state government, of course, has to do with the internal roads, that has to do with the linkage within the states. So for a state government delving into a federal, having to do federal government road is not really a bad thing, so to say. But of course, it just goes to show that our government, sometimes don't really know how to set its priority right. So, for Governor Wike trying to, lobby the government to make them understand that, listen, I've done your job for you, so you're owing me and all. It goes to show that, the federal government needs to put his house in order and make sure that they do the needful when it comes to their bidding, and of course for the betterment of Nigeria when it comes to our road infrastructure in Nigeria.
Now, it's interesting that you call it lobbying, but I call it indictment, because he was basically indicting the federal government. Like, look, you guys haven't done anything here. And then he listed roads that the state government had done that were that are federal government roads. Now, if you've moved around places, well, I have lived in this part of town, Lagos, for a long time, and I do know that when inner streets are bad and an individual takes it upon himself to fix, the local government will come to you and you will still have to pay them something. I don't know if you've seen that happen. You still have to, if you want to fix the road to your house, to make it, to make yourself comfortable, you will see officials of the federal government come and say, look, you don't have a right to fix this road because it is the local government's duty. But if you choose to do it, you will have to settle us. We've seen that happen a lot of times. So why does it happen so?
Yeah, of course, you know how our political space is. Everybody just trying to see how they can, feed from any opportunities available. So I think what the federal government is trying to do, what in that scenario, when you have people doing what they're not supposed, they're not supposed to do in terms of their primary duties. So you find out that for instance, now you're trying to fix a road that belongs to the state government, and they tell you, this ought to be done by the local government. But if you must do, you have to set, because they know at the back end, it's going to be a backlog for them, and they have to pay for it. So given to our political space is so porous that they use it as a way, to swindle, and of course, it's another corrupt practice where they get a lot of funds through, and it's so sad that we're where we are as a nation. That you have to be reminded to do your due diligence. It's so sad.
All right, there's something interesting though to take note. While he, arrived in Rivers yesterday, he actually promised to enthrone a government of equity, fairness, and justice, which will mobilize Nigerians irrespective of their ethnicity and religion for the task of development. And then some critics have actually complained about that, where you have certain presidents or some presidents from a particular region who give more appointments to their own region compared to not giving equal representation across, each ethnic groups when it comes to most of those political or public appointments. But Tinubu, while he was, he said that it was important for him not to marginalize any zone, and that he was assuring that he would work with every component and every unit for the good governance of the country. But based on his charisma, his personality, even while he was the governor of Lagos State, do you think that he will stay true to his word, or these are just words to allow the people to trust him, to create that sense of trust while, he's inaugurated on May 29? Do you think he's actually going to lead to these words?
Yeah, of course, you know how our political space is. Everybody just trying to see how they can, feed from any opportunities available. So I think what the federal government is trying to do, Well, giving to the president of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Ashwaj Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president-elect, I think, giving to his antecedents, he has been known to be someone who, regardless of where you're from, is the kind of person who's spot on when it comes to, discovering talent. But for the federal government, now he's the president. A lot of people attribute these qualities to him because of what he did as a governor. But I tell them, I say, listen, this is a federal level. These are federal level. So, of course, I won't be surprised when I see that his cabinets are full of some region, people maybe from his part or from his place or his Portuguese, so to say, because I think he would want to work with, just like this outgoing administration said, he want to work with people that he feels comfortable and he thinks that can deliver. So, giving to what he said yesterday, that his government will be based on, fairness, equity, and justice, I really hope that Nigerians hope that would come to bear, because from the body language given to me, from what I saw yesterday, I really hope that my fear don't come to reality, because it might just be like a business as usual, where it will be people that we already know or we've already seen handle one or two government positions coming back, and seeing it as their own, entitlement. And it might not be like, okay, you know what, I'm using this position to compensate you. I really hope it will come out to, give people who are going to do the job and do it well, giving to the doubt that Nigerians have for him, for his administration to deliver. So I think for me, I'm not expecting anything different, but of course, if it proves me wrong, I'll be happy. To see him deliver. Of course, it's our country.
As an observer, why exactly did you get that vibe from what you saw yesterday? Why do you feel like it's going to be business as usual?
From his speech yesterday, I was expecting to see him roll out his policies to say, giving to, in support of his administration would really support state government to see how governance can be felt at the grassroots level, and of course, reiterate his commitment to support the local government autonomy, and to make sure that governance is being reached, to the grassroots. So, but I didn't really see that happen yesterday. All I saw was just more of appreciation, calling governors' names, like, for instance, I would allow someone to reply you. I will just, and appreciating this, and calling that, it was more of like an appreciation ceremony, more of the commissioning, and I really expected more.
All right, in regards to that statement you made, how do you see Wike, in quotes, getting back from his support? For getting back, that is for supporting the president-elect. How do you see Wike getting, would I say, something back for actually putting his foot down, supporting the president-elect?
Well, they've been, I'll call it now speculation or rumors, so to say, that the president-elect might co-opt him into his government. But he was once a minister, of course, for state, some will say, and a governor. So I won't be surprised if I see him as a minister again. But like the president-elect said that I owe you nothing. I paid my debt. So I think it was. Right now you have to lobby to get it. I'm here now. I've done my bid for you. Types of commissioning, of course, and everything has to be lobbied for henceforth. So I really don't know their stand, and I can't speak for the president-elect, because I don't know what his thoughts are towards Wike. But I really hope that their newfound love, will supersede now.
You call it newfound love, but I'm taking that phrase, "I owe you nothing," and going by what you have illustrated, he's basically paid his debt, and we saw what happened during the presidential election, leading to the presidential election, how Wike, who is a stakeholder in an opposing party in the PDP, garnered support for the president-elect, who is from the APC. Now we saw how that played out. Now, him saying, "I owe you nothing," and juxtaposing that with the fact that Wike worked for him, for the president-elect during the presidential election, should we now come to the conclusion that there was some sort of transaction that went through. I don't know if it's, in terms of payback, appointments or something, or some things must have been said. Some things must have been agreed upon, and those things must have been done for him to say, right now, I don't owe you anything. If you need anything more, you have to come back to the table and we have to talk again. Because that's what lobbying is. What if you want me to give you something, what are you giving me in return?
You see, giving to the word of the president-elect, Ashwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu, like he said yesterday, that Wike, that the reason why he wants to associate himself with Wike is because Wike stood his ground, saying that the presidency have to come back to the south. That is his reason, but of course we know that word has a lot of undertone and has a lot of undertone, so to say. Giving to the agreement, I wouldn't know what they agreed on. I wouldn't know how long the terms of agreement will stand, or what will happen after this administration as hand over to the next administration. But of course, it's like saying that it's like from his word, saying that I've done my bit, so I think I don't owe you anything for now. You have to lobby like others are lobbying. If you need anything in my government, and I'm open to working with you, giving to your support in my bid to become the president-elect. Like he said, he won fair and square. So, and of course, thanking him for his support and putting his feet down against all odds. So I think to the president-elect, from his statement, he has done his bit. So it's just left for Governor Wike now to lobby further to say, you know what, I think I deserve more, or I think I'm okay for what you've done. I don't know.
All right, but that statement, I owe you nothing, a couple of persons will say that statement is very loaded. You know how Governor Wike is. He's a very controversial, he's a controversial personality, one of the controversial governors that we would say we've been able to experience. And a lot of persons will say, oh, that comeback from president-elect, wow, like he has met his match. And if you had listened precisely when he made that statement, he said, it is not out of indebtedness to you. I'm not indebted to you precisely. What you did it for the good of your people. You're actually living on this road. So don't make it seem like you're doing me a favor, you did anybody a favor, you helped yourself. So, but if you want to actually seek my favor, if you need me to intercede in any way, you just have to lobby. We need to have that conversation. You need to meet me. That was bold, that was brazen, coming from the president-elect, that you think, oh, he was going to coin his words in a certain way. Do you think he shouldn't have said it the way he said it? Because you see, for the Senate presidency, a lot of lobbying has been going on. It's obvious that for anybody to attain any political appointment or to get the favor of the president-elect or even the president, you now have to lobby. So does it mean that when it even comes to things that has to do with financial allocations to state governments, that kind of measure needs to be applied, that is lobbying the president before that is granted to you, when something is supposed to be due to you anyway?
I'm not, to be honest, personally speaking, I'm not expecting anything different in the coming administration, because, giving to his person, like he said it out the way it is yesterday, I don't expect anything from me. You have to lobby. So you can see a lot of lobbying going around, a lot of governors, making his entourage, and a lot of speculation going around, for his chief of staff, to everybody assuming duties even before assuming governance. Government. So, but I would have thought, like I said initially, I would have thought that would have been an opportunity for the government. For him to roll out his government policy, how to better the lives in terms of the oil sector, the insecurity, and of course, and other areas that is being affected by the southeast. So, but one thing I know for sure is that I see a lot of lobbying going on, and a lot will come in the coming days. So, but we shouldn't expect anything. That's one of the fears, of we, that Nigerians, that we want a government that is different. We want a government that would answerable to Nigerian people, not a government that would be based on lobbying or of course or favor. But I won't be surprised if the same happened in this government. Like I told a friend yesterday, I was discussing with a friend, and I said, you know what, I pray we don't miss the outgoing administration. Well.
As a strategist, what are the things involved in lobbying? What are the elements to look out for, when you want to lobby? What are the things to look out for? How do you go about it?
Sorry. Okay. One thing is, when it comes to lobby, of course, it's in a conventional way. It just goes to show, you bring your you bring what you have contributed to the success of the candidate on the table to say, you know what, I did this and did this for you, so I think I deserve X, Y, Z. And of course, some would go to the extent of saying, you know what, I've sold my name, or I've done this, I've put my life on the line so as to make sure that you turn out, you come out to be the president or governor or whatever position. And I think I have to, or not me, or someone that I think can deliver this job a way of compensation. So there's a lot that goes into it, in terms of victimizing the person, in terms of emotional blackmail, in terms of course, trying to buy the person's favor to show that, you know what, I can deliver, and going all out to show it. So there's a lot that goes into it, when it comes to lobbying, when it comes to politics, but you can't really itemize that this is how it works. For some, it might be like, you know what, you've been with me long before now, and I think you deserve this role, or I think you can deliver, this role, in my absence or while I'm there. So there's a lot that goes into it.
But the president sounded like, okay, so I promised you I was going to come to your state. I promised you I was going to come inaugurate this project for you. So promise fulfilled. Any other thing beyond this conversation that we had initially, which I have come to, fulfill on my part, we need to have a conversation, okay? Now, we recall that Nyesom Wike is of the People's Democratic Party, and the president-elect is, of course, of the APC. What do you think? Don't you think the sacrifice, especially from, what's his name, the governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, is really so huge? He literally compromised his own party, all right? He compromised his party to be on the good side of the president-elect. So don't you think that ideally there's a possibility that, okay, the president-elect actually owes him something?
Well, if you follow the build up to the election, and of course during the election and after, you follow the trajectory, you understand that the president, Governor Wike has really come out publicly to play an anti-party when it comes to the PDP, and he has gone all the way, even dare the PDP to suspend him if they can, and all. So it's a big win. So he went all out, he played this game, and of course alongside with his allies, the G5, and like of course you can see yesterday, you can see Governor Makinde presence, and which of course the president-elect really, acknowledged him and thanked him for standing beside or standing with Governor Wike, as it were. So I think the governor of Rivers State, which of course is a member of the PDP, has shown that, yeah, you know what, I'm not with you guys. This is where I pitch my tent, but I'm still going to remain at the party.
Does it mean that it was deliberate? The issue within his own political party, he already knew what line he wanted to toe, he already knew whom he wanted to support. So all the theatrics was just a distraction to his real intention.
Well, right now you want me to be like a mind reader, but I'll try as much as I can to manage that question.
Before the election proper, based on the attitude he displayed before the election proper.
A lot of chieftains in the PDP, who were, of course, at the back end, on the back meeting, has come out to say, you know what, Wike is clamoring for the southern presidency because of his bid, because he lost out and all. But from the play out, the body language and all, you could see that tilts towards him. And of course, when he saw that, okay, you know what, my party is not ready to give me what I want. Of course, I'm ready to pitch and I'm ready to, dam all all consequences and go with this person. So it has been a long-term playing game. And of course, I would say from the body language of Governor Wike, it shows that, okay, this is where I'm going. If you don't offer me, if you don't give me this. So, he's just the kind of person who wants to have it all. And you can have it all, when it comes to, political parties such as PDP, you can have it all. But, you're watching some interview that, I read Dele Momodu gave, and he said, you know what, it's really bad for a person. I want to re-echo his word that, you being a person, you're in a party and, you're destroying the party. So you're destroying your own home and you're peeing and drinking the same water from the same well. It goes to show the kind of person he is. For me, I expect more, but of course I'm not surprised. He has always shown that this person is supported, and he went all out to say, you know what, I damn all the consequences. I'm not leaving the party. I'm going to remain here, but I'm not going to support your candidate. I'm going to support this person. And it went all out. So it's not there for the party, at the eye level to do the needful.
All right, so basically politics has, the way it's being played out right now, it's based on personal interest. And
of course, it has always been. It has always been.
Well, if we're going to go by what the president-elect said, you have to lobby me if you want anything from me. Now, let's remove that from the context that he was speaking directly to a governor, Wike. Let's just say, what if this incoming administration works in such a way that all those that will come around and get political appointments and all of that would have to lobby for it? The worry now is, will the interest of the populace be considered? Should we be worried that appointments would be done on the basis of what I stand to gain from you and what you have to offer me, as against what is better for Nigerians? What do you think?
To be honest, the president-elect had to, I don't know, be given to his person as a person who, who comes out and, say just the way it is. It has always been the way. Lobby has always been the way, I think he just came on the fore to just say it out the way it is. Nobody in the political space that we operate in Nigeria has gotten the position based on merit. Even though some positions, on merit based on recommendation, there's always been lobbying. So, but him coming out to say that, come, you have to lobby me to get whatever you want, and putting the interest of the Nigerian people forward, that is the fear. It just goes to show that we are back to the drawing board. We are back to the way it usually is, or the way it has always been. And that raised a lot of concern for me as a person, to show that the dream for the new Nigeria is far-fetched. So because this has shown that, this is my position, and for you to get anything from my government, it has nothing to do with merit. It has to do with lobbying. And of course, like they say, the highest bidder would take, would take it all. So that's it.
Well, we do know that the president-elect is a thoroughbred politician. We'll see how things play out. I must say a very big thank you to you, Victor Atere, political strategist, for coming on the program today.
Thank you so much for having me. So sorry about the whole back and forth.
All right then. More voices pouring in for Ike Ekweremadu. To err is human, but to forgive is divine. That's what they seem to be saying. Let's talk about this in a moment.
In a moment. Interesting one there. Yes, it is. Funny enough, though, if you look at how the scenarios are playing, I think what happens in politics is what actually transpires in everyday life. For example, you need a favor from me. You need a favor from me.
Well, life in itself is
you need to do something politics to get that favor.
But there are certain times you consider an individual. It's okay. I'm going to give this person this job to do because you know that this person can deliver on the job, not because the person is close to you.
Okay, so is that how you're seeing this? Is that or the
isn't that how
general
it should
specific
be?
apply? Oh, that's how I'm talking about how it is, how we do it here, Moses.
No,
if you want to give me one bag of Gary now, you say, okay, Esther, I'm going to give you a bag of Gary, but this is what you have to do for me first before I give you that one bag of Gary. And because I desperately need that bag of Gary.
Manipulation is witchcraft. That is witchcraft. Yes, that's what it is.
Really?
When you manipulate somebody, that is witchcraft.
That's all. Is that not what plays out in Nigerian politics?
We have witches and wizards playing it. That's what it is.
Please, I don't want to
When
have
you
this.
manipulate people, it's
Of course,
witchcraft.
but that's what transpires here now. That's the broad daylight attitude when it comes to politics in this part of the world. There's no spirituality about it. It's just what takes place. We'll take a short break, and of course, we'll come back for the second segment of VOP this morning.